Here we go again. Here's another market update year to date up to the end of November for HRM. And my next market update will be in the new year in January, and that'll talk about the whole year of 2022, a complete year review. But for now, let's talk about this year. And then I'm also going to get into some details about the differences between December 2022 and December 2021 last year. So getting right into it, so far this year, we've had 5,253 sales in HRM, which is down 26% from this time last year. And the average price so far this year for these sales has been just over $539,000, which is up 17.2% from this time last year. So remember how the media has been portraying a total market collapse here in Halifax? Well, we're up 17.2% from this time last year, and we are down a little bit since the peak in April this year. However, it is not a complete train wreck like the news stories have been putting out over the last few months, but I have noticed those stories dying down a little bit here recently. And currently, we have about 2 months of listing inventory here in HRM, and last year we had only 0.6 months. So that is a huge, huge difference. We're almost 4 times the inventory right now compared to what we had this time last year leading into December 2021. Now, before I get into the details of what we're seeing in the market and some differences between this year in December and last year in 2021, if you like this content and you want to see more, please click the like and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week on YouTube about the Halifax real estate market and buyer and seller tips. Also, if you'd like to book a call or a meeting with me anytime, you can do so in the Calendly link below in my description at a time when it's convenient for you. Okay, so heading into December 2022, what is the difference between this year and last year in 2021? Well, without sounding, too over the top, well, everything is different. The market is completely different now than it was last year in December. So I'm going to talk about that right now. So first off, let's talk about price. So 17.2% difference from this time last year. And in my prediction video earlier this year, I thought we would see about an 11% price increase in 2022, but I did say that I wouldn't be surprised to see it go higher than that, and here we are at 17.2%, so a big difference in price this year compared to last year. Number 2, and this is a big one, rates. Interest rates are more than double this year what they were this time last year. So right now, if you're looking at a 5-year fixed, and they just announced the other day that this has just increased again with the Bank of Canada, 50 basis points, but right now you're looking at about 5.5% to 6% for a 5-year fixed rate. So historically, that is still okay. It's still relatively low as a historical number, but obviously it's a big difference from this time last year. So moving on to number 3, let's talk about inventory. So listing inventory. Last year, at this time, we had about 0.6 months of listing inventory, which is astronomically low. So that means basically if we stopped listing houses as a realtor tomorrow, that in 2 weeks, all the listings would be gone and sold in HRM. So this year, we have about 2 months of listing inventory right now, which is a huge difference. It's almost 4 times the amount that we had this time last year. And that is a big difference for what we're seeing in the market right now in 2022 versus this time in 2021. And number 4, sales are way down. So we're down about 26% year over year in sales. But the crazy thing is listing inventory is way up. So there's way more listings and sales are way down. So really, buyer activity has fallen off very drastically here in Halifax. And a big part of this is because the rates going up, the price is going up, and some buyers have been priced out. But I think the bigger problem that we're seeing is consumer confidence from the buyer end of things is at an all-time low. We just don't know where rates are going. They don't know where prices are going. There's a little bit of instability in the market from a consumer confidence perspective. And I think that's a big reason why the buyer activity has tapered off here in Halifax. So what are we seeing out there in the market, and what does this mean to you, the consumer? So, well, buyers and sellers are kind of at a bit of a standoff right now. We have the seller side who's still expecting prices like we were seeing in the spring market in, February, March, and April. And that was really at the peak of the market this year. And then we have buyers who are, expecting the newer prices that we're seeing today. And the sellers are sitting there saying, well, we'll sell our house if we get X dollar, which is kind of the old pricing, if you will. And then we have the buyer saying, well, we'll just wait it out because then we'll get a deal eventually with more listings coming to the market. And hopefully rates are going to, taper off in the new year. And this is their perspective. So they're kind of waiting for things to turn. And the sellers are like, well, we're only going to sell if we get this price. So because of this, we're seeing homes sit on the market a little bit longer. A lot of times they're taking 2, 3, 4, or maybe even 6 weeks or more to sell. So the listings are sitting a little bit longer, but that doesn't necessarily mean the sellers aren't getting their price at the end of the day. And obviously this matters big time in terms of style, location, and what price they're putting on it. So not everything is taking a long time to sell. I find everything that's $500,000 or less is still moving off the shelf pretty quickly, but it really depends on how it's priced and the location and the style of the home as well. In terms of multi-units in HRM, there's basically no inventory in multi-units, and even the inventory that's out there right now really makes no sense as an investment property with only a 20% down payment. But the ones that are moving have a good long-term value, so people are putting down more money to make them work up front, and then they're probably going to refinance down the road to pull some money back out and move on to another project. And finally, like I mentioned, we're seeing very, very low consumer confidence, especially from the buyer side, and I feel like a lot of buyers are waiting it out until the spring when the market is going to be better. And honestly, I really don't think that's going to happen. I think things are going to taper, and I think we're going to hold here for the most part going forward, but only time will tell. And I will talk about this a little bit more in a video here in a few more weeks with my predictions for 2023. Now, in general, the market is what I would consider a little bit slow right now, but I think it's all relative as well. I think it feels slower than it really is because of how heated the market's been the last few years. So I feel like we're all a little bit skewed mentally behind, the pace of the market and what's normal and what's not. But the reality is it's always a little bit slower this time of year. And I think it's just, the perception of this is just even more so slow because of the previous 12 to 24 months leading into right now. And the reality is in December 21, things were cooking. It was crazy going into the new year. There was lots of deals happening. Buyers were still buying. There was low interest rates. The prices were high, but there was thought they were going to go higher. And, it was still really hot going into the new year last year. I hope this video helped put some context into what we're seeing in the Halifax real estate market so far this year. And if you're still here and you get any value from this video, don't forget to like this video so it'll push out to more people with the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future content. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.